let him clean out the room. I refused to do this and told him that the only way the room is getting cleaned out would be if Trev no longer wants to live here. So, am I the butthole for putting a padlock on the door? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Purple Glitter Kitty. It says, "Not the butthole. Will your other son have all of his things put into trash bin bags too? You know, since he's a man as well. If your middle son wants a bigger room, he is welcome to find one in his own apartment with his new roommate, your husband. Best of luck to your son and thank him for his service. Stay strong, mama." Another commenter down below called Bad B Crow said, "Not the butthole. I feel like a room switch could be negotiated with your sons in 12 weeks, but there's no reason at all for them to be stealing and throwing away Trev's things. They're still his things. Even if he ends up living elsewhere, one assumes he, wants his stuff. OP, I'm not sure why your husband and your younger son are acting like your older son is dead and not a part of the family anymore. Who goes into a room, starts taking clothes, putting them in garbage bags, and just stealing anything they want out of there? Especially somebody who is 20 years old, and your husband, who I assume is quite a bit older than 20 years old. There's just no logic there. I'm not quite sure what's going on." Now, OP did update this one, so let's jump into that update now and see where this one went. The update is down below on the original post, and it says, "Update. I went to bed shortly after I wrote this post, and I want to thank everyone for commenting, even the negative ones. To answer a few questions, 1. I spoke to Jeff this morning and asked if he had talked to Trev prior to him leaving about taking his PS4 and clothes, and he admitted he did not. I told him that he was stealing his brother's belongings and he had until noon today to return all of them. He agreed, reluctantly, to return everything. I told Jeff that if I saw him near his brother's room again, he would have to find someplace else to live because I would not have my children stealing from each other, especially when the other child is not there. 2. I spoke to my husband this morning as well and asked why he did what he did. He has admitted that he is having a difficult time with Trev being gone, and anytime he walked past his room, he was reminded that he isn't here anymore. He broke down and said that he missed him and he was sorry. He too agreed that what they were doing was wrong and said that he would put everything back the way it was until Trev came home and decided what to do with his things and what he planned to take when he got to his permanent duty station. My husband is former Navy, and he said that he is not there to protect his son and he is scared. He has seen combat and does not want his son to have to see the things that he saw. 3. The entire family agreed that Trev's room would be left the way it was while he was in boot camp and training school, especially since he was only able to take the clothes on his back and his phone when he left for basic. The agreement was that when he was sent to his permanent duty station, he would make an inventory of the items he needed, and we would store and donate what he did not want and ship the things that would not fit into a suitcase. 4. My daughter and her Bubba are very close. This transition has been very hard on her, which in turn has made things worse for me, because not only am I concerned about my son, but I'm concerned about my poor daughter, who is clearly struggling with him being gone. My husband and I discussed it, and we think it's wise to find her someone to talk to, or even a sibling support group for active duty military, where she can go and talk about her feelings and her fears. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Wolf Von Beal 93. It says, "Not the butthole, of course. Concerning the update, please tell me you had them apologize to the daughter too. She was hysterical and telling them not to, and they completely dismissed her feelings. I guarantee what they did made this all 1,000 times worse." Another commenter down below called Just Need a Name 154 said, "I am glad you guys talked it out and have a plan. I think your husband and son better apologize to your daughter. I hope you find her a group or therapist to help support her. Good luck and best wishes for Trev. I hope he does well at basic and stay safe." I completely agree with the commenters on this one from both the beginning and the update, because if the middle son wants the bigger room, then by all means, you're 20 years old, move out and get yourself a bigger room. That's generally the way it's done. It's interesting to me that this family still has a 22-year-old at home and a 20-year-old at home. I can understand the 16-year-old though. But in my family, the way things have gone is, once you got up to those ages, well, it was Bye-bye, find your way in life. But I know some families aren't like that, so I can't speak too much on that one. Commenters are right though, your daughter is not being treated fairly by anybody in that house, including you, so make everybody apologize to the daughter and make sure she's getting the help that she needs to process her big brother being gone. This story comes to us from a deleted account. Am I the butthole for kicking out my mother-in-law in the middle of the night? Some background, I, 32 male, and my wife, 25 female, have been together for 5 years, married for 3, and are expecting our son now. We had our ups and downs when we first got together because I was fresh out of an abusive relationship and I was her first boyfriend. I had always noticed she was very demeaning towards herself and was constantly disappointed in herself. This was just 6 months into our relationship and it hurt to see her like that, since she is an amazing woman. I convinced her to go to therapy and told her we could do couples therapy because I really did love her in that short amount of time. During therapy, I learned her parents were narcissists who only loved her brother, their golden child. When she relayed the abuse she faced, I honestly cried, and that whole experience made us the strong couple we are today, and made her the strong woman she is today. Back to the present, my mother-in-law and father-in-law have gotten a little better over the years, which is why we moved to low contact from our previous no contact position. My mother-in-law came to visit us. They live overseas since my wife is pregnant. It has only been a week and my wife's mood is completely dimmed. This incident happened at night while we were sleeping. My wife went to get juice because she was craving it. Meanwhile, I went to the washroom. When I came back, I saw a glass on the floor and my mother-in-law shouting at my wife. I couldn't control my anger and shouted at her to get out, telling her if she didn't, I was going to call the police. She begrudgingly left the house. After calming my wife down, she told me mother-in-law got mad at her because she wanted apple juice, claiming it was bad for the baby and that she didn't deserve a baby if she was going to drink apple juice. Now I'm getting calls from her family saying I'm a butthole because I kicked her out. Even my parents called to say it was a butthole move and I could have let her stay the night. I understand I might be the butthole because I kicked her out in the middle of the night, but at that moment, seeing my wife shaking, it was the best option. Opie added a really quick edit down at the bottom. It says, for people asking me about what kind of apple juice my wife was drinking in the messages, she was drinking natural apple juice, which she makes herself from fresh apples, not the one from the market. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Misfit Incarnate. It says, so much not the butthole. Go back to no contact, unless you want this kind of behavior around your baby. Another commenter down below called Mountain Goat 05 said, not the butthole. Your in-laws are toxic people. I'm proud of you for protecting your wife from their garbage. They don't deserve a place in your family's life. Opie responded and said, thank you. For a second, I did really believe that they were getting better and not being toxic, but that was just a lie, I guess. Opie, there's a reason why you guys were no contact before that we obviously don't know, so there's a history of things happening here, and I agree with the commenters. Go right back to no contact, turn the other way and run as fast as you can, or kick them out the front door and make them run away as fast as they can, if you know what I mean. Definitely go back to no contact. You don't need those kinds of people in your life. Now, Opie updated this one. Let's jump into that now. This one says, thank you to everyone who responded to my post. Thank you to everyone who voted not the butthole, because I was really conflicted for a few days after the incident. And I also agree that I could have controlled my anger better. A lot has happened since I posted. My wife and I went to therapy, where she told me the reason she accepted her mother's request to come was because she saw how her mom treated her brother's kids. So she wanted that for our son too. She genuinely believed that her mother had changed for the better, but as explained by our therapist, some narcissists refuse to change. My wife and I wrote one letter and sent it to every one of her family members who told us we were in the wrong. It basically said her mother never cared for her and never would, and we didn't want that around our children. My wife described several instances where she experienced emotional abuse, and even though everyone knew, no one did anything except for her grandma, her father's mother. She said she's tired of always being the bigger person, and now she would be selfish for herself and our child. If anyone disagreed, they were welcome to cut contact.